Good morning to everyone.
Oh, good morning, sir. हजार आ गए हो अब्बू
Are you able to see my
वो
screen?
100 रुपए जो ना Yes, sir. वो एग्जाम के
Yes.
पैसे को आज चल लास्ट डेट ना तो लिखा थे एग्जाम हाँ नहीं लिखा रही जी
So what is last
माँ
class?
का खाली 50 रुपए
Can I have brief, please?
50 रुपए 2005 Yesterday we have seen examples of playbooks, how to write with sections like target, task, work, and handlers. And next, we have seen with the loops and branching, how to support loops and branch logic using when plugins and with items and Ansible rules. यार मेरी भी ला लो
Thank you.
अब चार्जेस करना है मगो ये देखे अच्छी नहीं आते आते ये देख कर वो दस के पहले चढ़ी ठीक कर देता हो अंदर चढ़ना
Fine.
ये भाई नहीं बनता
We'll start something about as you have to work on multiple modules, line in file, block in file, cron jobs.
चलो
So
sorry
you have to search this module and you have to make one example so you can be confident with multiple modules.
भैया बोलने का आज कोई
If I want to play multiple posts or multiple plays into
नहीं तो
one playbook. Is it possible? Yes. As I said, you have to repeat your sections. Which sections? You have to repeat your multiple host sections. Then host refer to what? Your the
मैं
host
बोलते
group, what you have created in your inventory.
तो फिर मेरे रोहित करे वो ही
User module, group module.
नहीं तो नहीं देते
Fine. So these are the example of application server.
अरे सर कहीं को पढ़ाता
If you want to set up a LAMP or WordPress, so all those things can be done with what? Ansible. That means multiple packages. You have to understand multiple packages. That means your same kind of yum or app depending on your the DBN or your Red Hat.
What else? What?
So you can see that in the yum module, what we have given
बोल रहे चिड़े बोल चिड़े
one application called firewall D, SCDPD, the MariaDB application that is your PHP and PHP MySQL. That means multiple packages I have defined into module called yum. So that means you should know what exactly your LAMP website. That means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. When you're working with the PHP and MySQL application, you need to set up your server with this kind of components or package. Then service should be start, and you need to define some rules of the firewall. Then you have to use the copy command, copy module, service module. So these all things are basically into your kind of making a lamp setup or WordPress setup. If you want, you can do. You can Google it. You can get all the Ansible, which is basically what are the packages you want to do, and a lot of templates are available. But you have to try. Fine, we did something about this. I hope everyone executed the playbook. Syntax error, dry run, or playbook done is okay everything.
Yes, sir.
पहिले भेटायला त्याच्यामध्ये आपण कुठे मशीन नंबर मारला त्याच्या बी आपण बाला तेच पण टाकला समजलं
Numer is okay.
नाही
Yes, sir.
So once please, last Sunday I said please come and do practical and show me some demonstration. So please, if you want to come, like tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you can come. You just inform me on a WhatsApp group. You are going to come on what time, so you can. I want to see your labs. I want to see your individual labs, how you're doing. That's very important before you reach to the interview.
जो पहिले थे वो एक पढ़ना स्कूल से आएगा हाँ फर्स्ट क्लास थर्ड क्लास बोलते हैं ना
So I said about loops kind of thing, or when is a kind of
हमारे को भी
when module and a loops. So we have an option like here you can loop a particular action multiple times with the help of what loop concept. That is when is a plugin. Basically, it's act as a if,
हमारी टीम में था
and you have a logic of your kind of loops. You can use a loop for what to repeat that particular action. When is basically to check condition, upgrade the system. Ansible if it is Debian. If it is not Debian, don't run this command. I want to run different command.
उन्हें भागना था स्पीड में सर क्या बोले जो पकड़ने वाला मैं बीच में से भी जा सकता उन्हें वहां नहीं जा सकता और जब बीच में से नहीं जा
With
सकता
item is basically to loop.
जा सकता पिला ठहर गए रहते वहां
Example, we have this to create multi-user by using with items plugin for loops.
तो
The task name, and I'm using some kind of module called word user. In that I'm passing the parameters name,
बस लेके आया
groups,
पूरे गए वहां
state. State is present means what? Create. In a name, I have not given any kind of hardcore value here. I have given a kind of variable with a kind of double quote and a flower brackets. And this variable, I'm going to say what? I'm calling here. I'm saying that what are the items are defined under the with items user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 10, user 100. That means this will create a user from this list with this group, adding to this group. Again, it will not stop that particular module. It will go for again, go with this, and again it will check what second user. Again, it will do all this perform action. Again, it will go further. If the with item list is finished, then loop exit. So this way, the loops comes with this. You have to do the when and loop at least two examples. Ansible rules, as I said, if you know very well about the playbook and everything, that's fine. You are able to create roles. Roles is basically structured of your playbook. That means a big playbook can be split into multiple playbooks to keep in a proper structure. That is called roles to make your work easy. An interview question they can ask this terminology here. I can show you something here. Ansible model should follow idempotency. So idempotency is basically what? Which means a consecutive runs of the same modules should have the same effect if nothing else changes. That means it will not repeat your kind of action again and again. Well, design module detect if the current and desired state. In Terraform, we have a current and desired state. Same thing. We say that the internally, like here, the Ansible works on idempotency principle. Current desired state match and avoid making changes if that's the case. If something is changed into the file, then it will affect, or else it will not repeat again. So that is called what? Idempotency. It's a kind of concept. Idempotency is a kind of what? Is a kind of concept to understand the keyword, or a kind of like you can say in Ansible, there's a kind of concept which is basically avoiding duplicate actions repeated. Once you execute that particular playbook one and it's done everything, then again by mistake if you type, if you run again, so it will not do again that particular installation. It will check the desired and current state and it will not go for again. That's gonna word idempotency. So once you are good into loop, when and some modules of the Ansible and you're able to create playbook with a multiple play or single play, that's you are okay with that. Then you can go for what? The roles. Once your role is okay and the structure what you want to define, you have to create a project directory under the roles. Then you have to go for web server, you have to go for task, you have to go for variable, you have to go for files, you have to go for templates. That means different folders under the roles. If you want to create example web server, I want to create a task for a web server, I want to create a variables and template modules. I don't want to write all these sections, all this block under one file. I want to split into multiple files, so I can do it with the help of what? Role structure. So how to create a role structure? Basically we have an option called what? Ansible Galaxy. Ansible Galaxy is a kind of command of Ansible where it can create an Ansible role. When I say init role name, if I give web server, and if I init, or if I say nginx, example is what? I'm typing what? Nginx. The role is what? Nginx. So automatically the nginx directory structure will be created by Ansible Galaxy. There is no need to go for manually creating project, roles, web server, folder and folder. So automatically by default a template will be created. With the help of this role, it will automatically create that particular Nginx directory structure. That means how to create a kind of role directory structure. You can say directly that use Ansible Galaxy to create that particular structure by using init. How to see hierarchy of Nginx role? So definitely you know that Linux command is what? Tree. Tree and a specific folder. That means the main folder. So it will show all these folders under the folder how it's organized. Default roles directory, etc Ansible roles. That means your directory will be created under this Ansible, where your Galaxy role will be created under this. So you can make a point and interview. You can say that how you create a role for an Nginx, how you create for a WordPress, how you create for a kind of LAMP service. So all things is basically depend on your the role name. You can see that when I say tree Apache, it's saying Apache is a kind of a role, and under that you have a some main.test YAML file. Under that you have a files. Files is a folder name, and under that handlers, and there is a kind of file called main.yaml. Meta, Apache files, handlers, meta, tasks. These are the folders. Under that you have some YAML files. You can keep any names, but it's automatically create main.yaml. Template, test, vars. So you have a YAML file in handlers, and you have a file in the meta, and you have a file in task, you have a file in test, and you have a test in files in what? Vars. That means all this playbook, big playbook, which having variables section, which having task section, which having some kind of handler section, which having text kind of like here uh, task section. This all things is divided into multiple folders, and you're keeping that particular argument or whatever the code you want to generate in the task, whatever you want to go for handlers, everything will be kept. So 8 directories and 8 files. So now you have idea got that how you're going to create a roles with the help of Ansible Galaxy. But very important thing is what a playbook, modules, loop, and when. If you understand this more and more, then you can easily work with other things. But it's highly recommended to understand well with the playbook, with items and when concept and vars concept. You have to understand this. Then you can go with your Galaxy very easily. So once you have this, I'll give some assignments. I'll give assessment here, test on that. So assignment will be a practical labs, and assessment will be some question answers for this. So you have to attempt that question answers and you have to do the assignments. So I'll give some assignment like here. Install and configure Ansible with 3 hosts.
Hello.
Shut down servers with ad hoc, or and you can say modules.
I'm sorry. No खटका मार रहे तो उठा रहे नहीं
Create a
तो
playbook
गाड़ी देने you know
to create users, 10 users, 10 files, and 5 packages. Create a lamp stack, WordPress, to create a kind of what? Node.js and Python. I want that a kind of server should be ready with your Python and Node.js. So you should know about this, how to set up, or you can have what
लगा दो खदीजा वो
Java with Tomcat using with items and when. That means 3 hosts should be what? AWS Linux 2 and one is what? Ubuntu. And the packages you have to install what? Git, Nginx, and you have to install Firewall D. So I want these packages to be installed in a AWS Linux as well as Ubuntu. That means when it's going to be used. And I said when 5 packages and 10 users, 10 files, you can use with items. This is your kind of assignment for your playbooks, Ansible. Syntax errors. Troubleshoot. Give example of common errors. Whatever you have seen the errors while doing the practice, you have to specify that particular errors. That when I execute a playbook and having some kind of issues with your syntax or password issues or having some kind of section is not executed, handler sections or where section is not executed and is not giving a permission problems, it's having a lot of issues with this, different errors. So how do you solve it? That's going to be troubleshooting. Assessment will be given as a link MCQ. You can check out. That's going to be about your Ansible. So once you're able to do this Ansible alone with understanding, that means you got a lot of idea about this. Start services. Now once you have done your Terraform, Docker, Ansible, we have a kind of like here a popular tool called what? And the tool which is basically is a very important tool. Without that, you cannot be a what? DevOps engineer. Which tool? If you do your Ansible, Terraform, Docker, GitHub, and all those tools, but you don't know about Jenkins, then you are not a DevOps engineer. Remember this point. Jenkins is very important. Jenkins is basically a hero of your DevOps. So CI/CD tools. Jenkins comes under what? CI/CD tool. So you have a time to work on Ansible, a specific playbook. I'll give you this playbook here. I have given already. So now, just have some brief. Going with CI/CD tool is very important. The first class what I delivered, where we understood about the several stages, and we understood how that kind of stages makes your application development easy. Continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous delivery. There are two different options, right? So what is CI/CD tool? Jenkins is a CI/CD tool, or you have other tools. GitLab also having CI/CD options. Can make CI/CD kind of process can be done with GitLab, and you have a Team CD, which basically used for CI/CD. So you have various kind of tools, which is basically for making an CI/CD. And continuous integration, continuous deployment will be done by Microsoft Azure and Amazon built-in services, managed services. We'll see both, but we need to understand what the purpose, agility and faster development and or improve software development efficiency you required in CIC. And we know very well about SDLC, software development lifecycle. Principle to do software development in a systematic process is called what? Software development cycle. Initially, the idea behind the software. Initially, they started with what? A kind of logic called waterfall methodology, step by step process, agile, sprint process, partial, and DevOps, fully automated. The successor of agile, we can say DevOps. It's all our methodology of your SDLC. Methodology is nothing but a system of working on software development process. How do you develop the software? So your DevOps is a fully automate which can reduce huge number of time. That means it can improve the productivity of your software development. Improves by making CI/CD process. Continuous integration, continuous deployment will be automatically between multiple stages by using a single centralized application called Jenkins. What is CI/CD? Process to do continuous pipeline job. The word pipeline, understand. Pipeline means a job is connected to another job, and job is connected to another job. That means the jobs are interconnected to each other. With the sequence is called what? Pipeline. For making automation without human interference, a lot. I want it should be automated. I want all the pipeline should be continuous integration, continuous deployment because of what? Fastness. I want to like here avoid human intervention. To do CI/CD, what tool we use? I said Bamboo, GitLab, TeamCD, and Jenkins. The most popular is Jenkins. If you go with the Jenkins, then similar concept will be in Bamboo or GitLab or TeamCD. There is no worries. When Amazon or Microsoft Azure also offering CI/CD tools, which can be a kind of same part. When you talk about AWS DevOps, that means CI/CD. You're going to go for code commit, code deploy, code build, or code pipeline. These are the tools we use. Services of Amazon. When you go for Azure DevOps, you have Azure having Azure Boat, Azure Pipeline, Azure Repos. These are the services offered by Azure. But when you go for open source DevOps, you find Jenkins, Terraform, Docker, Ansible, GitHub, Kubernetes. These all the tools are basically used in your third-party software, which is very flexible to work on Google, Azure, AWS. That's why people prefer what? Open source DevOps. Once you have good knowledge about Terraform, Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, oh, you can easily work with Azure and AWS because it are managed services. And your these tools you need to manage, self-manage. You have to install, you have to configure, you have to update, you have to troubleshoot yourself. This all things is going to be self-managed, but it's very useful because one tool can work in multiple environment where it can very useful apply in software. That means where it can very useful apply. That means in software development process, mostly CI/CD process is going to be good into where software development process. So that means earlier we used to have SDLC models like waterfall, step by step, agile, or sprint process, and now we are working with DevOps, CI/CD, or automation process. So what is DevOps? It's a framework or a methodology. It's not a technology which has made automation in SDLC process to deliver faster app to customer to improve software development productivity. So your Jenkins is going to be a middle person or a mediator, a consultant between all the stages. Docker, Terraform, Ansible, Jenkins, like your AWS, Azure, or you have a GitHub. Every services and tools are interconnected to your Jenkins. So all these tasks can be in one single pipeline. It can be very automated job. So that's why we have to look about this. What is pipeline? Multi jobs interconnected to each other to perform or deliver product with sequence job experience. GitHub SCM linked with Maven, Gradle, and Microsoft Build. GitHub is what we know that it's a kind of SCM tool. So what is this? So we say that here whenever we have a GitHub is a kind of very first stage after your developer did a kind of development, the source code is completely done and they have executed and they want to push into GitHub, and GitHub should be linked with build tools, that is Maven, Gradle, or Microsoft Build. If you have a .NET kind of application, you have to use Microsoft Build. But Maven and Gradle is going to be used for Java, Python, other script languages can be built. Process, that means GitHub is linked with the build, and after build, a kind of white, you can say smoke test. If you want to do a smoke test for static analysis, the code quality, remember this point, code quality. The code is written in a quality wise, that means international standard, whether the code line, number of lines, and the security system, what you are maintaining the code is correct or not, that it will say. That's basically called what? Sonar Cube is a tool, smoke test. And after that Sonar Cube, the next stage, the third, fourth, right? One is GitHub, next is Maven and Gradle, and the third is going to be Sonar Cube, and the fourth is going to be Nexus. Nexus or JFactory is a tool, basically is acting as a repository. If everything is okay, then it will reposit for the testing. Before giving to the testing team, it need to deposit in a repository. So it's not like SCM source code. It's like a, you can say, the package one, which is built by Gradle or Maven. One is packaged. That package, the application which is ready to run, that package is available on what? Repository to have a version control. That means it's going to be a next tool. And after testing, that means Selenium final release. When you release, the Terraform, Docker, Ansible, Kubernetes, and EC2, all things will work. Common process in developing a software up to delivery. Common process in development for software up to delivery. That means end-to-end process. GitHub to what? Production environment. Your dev environment to testing, testing say, testing to like your production. Stage one, coder developer codes in the parallel development style. Then they need to push the next process. And you have a code editor, Cloud9, Visual Studio Code, PyCharm with a Git. So you have a lot of code editors, or you can say IDE environment. So once you have this kind of tool, so which can be used for what? Developer use. From there, they'll integrate with the Git and they'll send the code to the Git. Stage two, storage with a version control and source code management is order to store code centrally and integrate with what? Security. That's going to be secure and integrate well. Then GitHub, Git bucket, Bitbucket, and GitLab is done. Source code building process. That means after keeping into the GitHub or something, it needs to be raw code into Artifactory. The word Artifactory you have to remember. Artifactory means the raw code after compiling, after building that particular package, the output of the exe or Java, JS, JavaScript or jar file is called what? Package. Var, R, jar, exe. These are application only applicable. Tools for building Maven, Ant, and Gradle. Stage 4. After having the code should be built, you need to send this code into analysis. Whether the code having the code quality, that means number of lines is duplicated, or you have a security issues. So whether compiling is possible here or not. So there's going to be Sonar Cube. Duplicate code or vulnerability also. Then you have a Sanaf cube, and from there, the Artifactory repository. The word Artifactory, as I said, is a packaged after the source code, after compiling and building. Before it goes to testing, it is with Version control repository which hold artifact, not raw code to testing. Tools JFrog and Nexus. Now, what is the package? That means what is the package store? Now I want to say what? Step 6. After the JFrog and Nexus, you're going to go forward. You have a kind of time to testing build. So application before release to the production. So what are the functional kind of thing? That means what are the functional testing and non-functional testing? Functional means all module function working as per the requirement of a client, and non-function is testing, pen testing or vulnerability check, performance test. Everything will be tested by a security team here, and you use kind of tool called Selenium or UFT1 or JMeter. So a lot of tools are there. So depending on the project, they use a kind of web application, Android application. Depending on that, they use different tools. But it's not your job. But you should know about your left and right, what is going on, and what tool and what is the use of this. So now after this, you have a kind of what pre-production or production delivery or deployment process to specific infrastructure when the testing is completed and it need to release. Where tested quality check product will be available to public customer. That means you're going to release in a market in a production environment where you're going to use what? Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, Docker. These all tools are very useful in this situation. So infrastructure is going to be virtual or cloud. It's going to be Azure. It can be AWS. It can be Google. And you need these kind of options, right? So these tools are going to use in this orchestration, or you have a monitoring Kibana, Grafana, Flunk, Zabbix, Negais. That means after releasing, what do you need? Continuous monitoring system. You can understand here. You have a continuous monitoring is required. So what are the tools we are going to go for kind of like your application? It's very important to make application more reliable. So you need what? Zabbix, Splunk, Grafana, or Kibana is visualization, or you want to go for insights, and everything will be watchdog. So these are basically tool where people are using. So once you understand this from end-to-end process, so it's good to go with Jenkins. First, you have to understand all this. To do all the process automations as a pipeline, we use what? Jenkins, GitHub, Maven, Gradle, SonarQube, test like your Artifact, JFrog, Nexus, or you want to go for Selenium, you want to go for Terraform, or Kubernetes. Everything can be connected, interconnected to what? Jenkins. Jenkins now control every services. Basically, what is the purpose of Jenkins? Pull, push, execute, and notification. Pull is basically getting the data from a GitHub and it's going to push to underway, and then after that execute and notify. So these are the basically operation of your Jenkins. Jenkins is a free open source software initially developed by Oracle, later donated to open source community. Initially developed by what? Oracle, but they later given to open source community, donated, because they find that yes, it's needed a lot of research. So one head is not enough. You need to go for open source community where you have a lot of community support. So definitely you'll find research. So open source community, and the port number, it use Jenkins port number. Interview question they can say what about port number 8080? It works on 8080. And dependency of Java. That means before you install a Jenkins, you should have a Java. That means Jenkins is built on the base of Java language. So you have to install the Java before we start with the Jenkins. And which version is working? Java 8, 11, or 17. This is going to be a final version you have to go. So dependencies and port number you have to understand, free, open source, and can work on Linux, Windows, virtual cloud. Anywhere you can go for Jenkins. It's not important only Linux, but Linux cheaper and faster and secure. Oracle, Jenkins, and Hudson. That means Oracle provide Jenkins, Hudson. Hudson is a paid software. Jenkins is a free software. Method preparing pipeline of CI/CD in Jenkins. We have two methods: plugin and Groovy. That means manual or scripted. So if you want to go for scripted, first you have to understand manual. So I'll go with what manual. So manual is freestyle or small projects, but big project require Groovy script. So automated, most preferable, troubleshooting, reusability, easy to write and share. Groovy is going to be short and it's going to be reliable. It can be a kind of troubleshooting. So now we got something idea about Jenkins now. It works on 8080. It is having a Java. You need to have that particular versions, and you got an idea about CI/CD process. What are stages again? How to set up Jenkins on the AWS. How to set it? You have to log out with the user O etc yum repo dot yes Jenkins this. So you have this command. You can see that wget command to download it. So you have to download Jenkins repo because it's not default. After that, you have to import into that particular repository. Then you can say yum upgrade, install Java 11, install Jenkins, enable the Jenkins, start the Jenkins, start the Jenkins. That's it. Upgrade, install, enable it, right? So once your Jenkins is ready, install the post installation. That means pre-installation means what? It's going to copy files. It will ask you about Java prerequisites, and you have to do that. That if you want to do practice, you have to go with a browser. So browser needs what? IP address. For IP address, you can connect to your machines. Post installation starts, unlock. That means it will ask first password. So interview question they can say default password will be kept in Jenkins where var lib Jenkins secrets. Remember this point? Var lib caterers. So default location you have to remember, and then suggested plugin you have to go for suggested if you are very new. If you want to select, you can select it. Set username password. So this way up to dashboard will go. Tomorrow what we do is I need stages, I need what is pipeline, I want to know understand about your basically about your kind of healthy food. You have to use it. So why? Because basically now people are getting you have to be ready for this kind of like cure the classes because people are getting cold and something you have to eat properly and you have to take a rest so you can actively attend the class, right? So up to here we'll close it. After installation we'll go for dashboard. So first you have to understand only stages well, then you can understand the Jenkins. What is the use case of Jenkins? Installation no problem, you can easily you can install it. It's not like complicated like Ansible doing here and there, but it's going to be very easy. Then we can go for dashboard, and then I'll introduce the dashboard. Then we'll have a project one, project two, project three. What CI process, CD process will do smoothly. Any question for me?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
So I don't want to continue about Jenkins setup, but setup is okay. You can easily understand. But I don't want to continue with dashboard and creating some kind of Jenkins pipelines, manual and automated. I don't want to go right now. I'll stop here. Then next class will be in a practical on Jenkins, and I'm going to show you something on project wise. Be serious of that. I want Ansible to be seen. That means you have to submit your assignment. You can research online and you can write it. Is it clear? Can I conclude the session now?
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Please do your first about this kind of like your Ansible. Then go ahead with this theory. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.